right, so I do see some new faces. So I'm Robbie Rodriguez. Started the group Citizens Against probably a year ago, well, back in May of last year. And what we used to be called Citizens Against the Rezone for Illegal Aliens. Say that 3 times fast. It's hard to say. So we shortened it to Citizens Against. Actually, the Pro Rezone group gave us that nickname, and I thought, you know what, that actually works. I'm going to stick with that. Thank you. So we're Citizens Against, and it doesn't just stand for against illegal aliens. We're against tyranny, communism, Marxism, dictatorship, all that kind of stuff. Anything that goes against the people. So what we're doing is, lately, our most recent venture is bonds. There is something called surety bonds. So with surety bonds, it is kind of like an insurance, but it's not. It's like a liability that the bondsman takes out on a public official. All public officials have to have a bond. They cannot be a public official if they are not bonded. So your school board members, they're bonded. Your superintendent, he's bonded. Your city council members, they're bonded. Your judges, they're bonded. Let's see, who else? The sheriff, he's bonded. Anybody who was voted or appointed or is an employee of is bonded. And here in our area, it's under a blanket bond called a blanket faithful and performance bond. And that means that what my guess is, from what I understand, everyone that's in the county of Gratiot is covered under the same bond. When I went to file for the FOIA for the liability numbers for the 4 city councilmen and the mayor, their liability policy number was the same. All of them were the same policy number. So I'm going to assume that's not going to work for everyone else too. Okay, so before I get into that, so we decided to, oh yes.
Can I say one more word before I leave? Because this is important to what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, I might have an attorney for you to talk to.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I found out about him today. They sponsor veterans.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to talk to them and see if they can't do some pro bono.
Yeah, that would be great.
To protect what you're doing and where you're going with it.
Because we filed our claims last night.
You did?
Yeah.
Filed them.
Yep. Or no, not last night, the night before. I'm sorry.
Not lawsuit wise, but.
No, not a lawsuit.
Great.
We filed our claims 2 days ago. It just seems like it was just a day ago, doesn't it?
I'm an attorney, boy, I can tell, especially a congressional attorney.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved your article this morning. I wanted you to know that.
My article.
Yep, and there was an article in the Morning Sun this morning concerning all of this. And
okay.
None of them have resigned,
Mm-hmm.
but they have run to their meeting with the, what is it, the RDCQST?
MMRMA.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
it.
Yep.
But they don't say anymore. But they're all there now. They're going to have a big meeting on that I understood, and there's going to be more on this. And so right now you're kind of protected, but if anything is wrong with any of that, then fire can start to burn. And so we need to really, really look at getting you some real protection. But
Okay. Well, yeah. Let me know. You mean you have my number, so call me with that guy's information tomorrow if you want, and we'll see what he says about everything else.
Well, the thing the thing that's scaring the heck out of them is the thing with 20 pages of law. And we know where that one.
Yeah, 20 pages almost on every single person. Well, some of it was an intro. There's certain things you have to type up before you present. The laws are about 12 to 13 laws each that I have assumed that they have broken, and I put in there, it's to the best of my knowledge.
Good work.
And I also put in there a claim that I have the right to, I reserve the right to amend this claim, and I'm not a lawyer, but this is the research that I've come up with. This is
well, they may have not broken the law with the children when it comes across the border, because they got something.
Well, unless they use legislation that's
presidential.
contrary to our constitution, then any law that they have
That's
used
it.
is not void, is
That's my
void.
point. The other thing is, we know for a fact they've been transporting the kids.
Mm.
They have all broken the law, those laws of the states that they've gone through to bring those kids here, whether it's in the air or on the land.
Yeah.
The other one is more, the other day, I was just telling Eckridge, I better tell you guys, and that is that, they had a big meeting over there. I went past and there was a big meeting with the with the police.
Yeah, there was a bunch of people in the
You
parking
saw
lot.
it too?
No, you told me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you called me.
Yeah, but, they had a big meeting with, and all the cars were there, and a few of the officials,
Mhm.
which I would assume might be, that keyword assume, might be the, Alma City Commission,
Mm.
commissioners, so.
Well, if they had a quorum, then they have to put that down as a meeting.
Well, I don't know if they did, that's something to check into. One of the other things I was looking into as well, is that I want to, start looking into an investigation into the, lineage of how they closed that elderly building down, and for what reasons, and I've just been told some of them.
Yeah.
But we'll get together on that stuff a little bit later, but I just wanted you to know that I've been noticing a few things. And
Yeah.
I might have an attorney for you, I don't know.
Okay.
But at least got a name, and that's where I'm going.
Well, tomorrow, give me a call and we can go over all that
Will
too.
do. I will.
Cece.
God bless you. God bless you all.
God bless you too. Thank you for coming. Did you have a question? Did you have your hand raised too?
No, I was just.
Oh.
On the question, but,
I would say that I got time to watch it today.
thank you. I appreciate it, obviously. Bring in an attorney when you need to,
Mm-hmm.
which would be probably after the, reaction, whatever that would be.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, the good thing about this is, this doesn't go into litigation. This doesn't go to a courtroom. Many people have done this and have been very successful, without having any attorneys involved whatsoever. Bondsforthewin.com, you go to that website, they have all the information you need. And Meredith just sent me something the other day, yesterday, I think, in our group chat, or no, it was the other day, that had, kind of like, when you write your claim, these are the things that need to be in it, and it was kind of like, things that will protect us from further, conflict, would be to say that I reserve the right to amend this document so I can change it. Anyone who filed that claim can change that document to adjust it. If the bonding agent says, well, they didn't violate this law, you take that off the table. Okay, we'll delete that. If that's how you feel, then, or if that's the law, then we will take that off. Or, because we're not slandering anyone. We are looking at the laws and we believe, to our best knowledge, that they violated these laws. But yes, an attorney always helps, because, there's so many things that you don't, the codes for federal and state law, those are hard. Because you have to get the specific code of that section. So, but I think I did get it. I think I got all of them. Okay, we'll find out from their agent. But, so, back to where I was at before. So after the city commission, the planning commission voted to deny the rezone based on section 60-381, section B, where all 5 factors need to apply in order for the vote to be yes. If one of those factors doesn't apply, and I believe it's health, safety, welfare, comfort, and something else. I can't remember that off the top of my head. If one of those factors don't apply, or there has to be a resolution of all 5 factors. If one of those factors doesn't apply, there's no resolution. Therefore, you cannot pass that ordinance amendment, or that zoning amendment.
Oh, okay.
Which is an ordinance, so the zoning amendment. And when Schooley on the planning commission said, there's no resolution, people here just don't feel safe. And if that's the case, then I can't vote to pass this, pretty much, in so many words. So the planning commission agreed, and they voted to deny the rezone. commission was much harder to get under that same topic. They said, well, Piccolo said, we're gonna go ahead and pass this. We got resolution. I think somebody wants in. I think on the right door. Is there not a door open?
I think they automatically.
I just see a guy staring in, and then he come back a couple times. Oh, there was a guy like kind of going back and forth. All right, so the city commission said that they believe there was a resolution of this. Roger Holman said that, and so they decided to pass it, which doesn't make any sense. How is there a resolution when your planning commission said, well, we deny it, we recommend to deny it? I don't even know. Why should I even have to explain that? So anyways, they passed it through, and then we've had a rough couple of months after that. What are we gonna do? We thought maybe we can change a law. Let's change a law, right? Yeah, it didn't work that way, because then we had, in order to change, or make a new law, in order to put that law in place, we'd have to change this, not, and amend a whole bunch of different laws. That wasn't really gonna, we tried, we thought.
Factor.
Yeah, it just wasn't gonna happen, because it still needed to be approved by the city commission. And we know how they were voting. And they don't really, in my opinion, they don't, their votes aren't, they don't care about the people when they vote. Because if they did, then they wouldn't have done that. So we came across Bonds for the Win. And we started, like what caught my attention was they've already been successful. They, an Illinois woman went after a bond claim for the superintendent of the school that her kid attended, who was physically disabled or mentally disabled, autistic, I think. And they were forcing her kid to wear a mask, and he couldn't have that on his face. And she ended up having to put her son in a mental institution because he had a breakdown, because he just couldn't handle it. So she found out about bonds, and she went after their bonds. The state lost all their funding. Mom won her claim, and all the mask mandates of that school were
If there was like
lifted.
140,000 children, they announced were just free today.
Mhm.
So it was a
Oh,
great thing.
This one was a like couple months ago, but what you're
Oh.
talking about was something
There was
different.
something just recently.
Yeah, what I'm talking about was something probably about a month or
The
2 months
newer
ago.
or the older one.
But yes, I have been seeing Bonds for the Win has Telegram. If you go to that, they do live videos and stuff like that too. There's also Bonds for the Win MI for Michigan. Okay, so found out about these. So how do you go after someone's bond? So if you can look at a bond, like a bail bondsman. Well, if let's say you're out on bond, that bail, like for $10,000. Okay, you're out on bond, blah blah blah. You can't stay out past this time. No drinking. You can't go here. You can't go there. Well, if you break those restrictions, well then you're responsible for that bond, and then they're not. I'm sorry, they're going to drop their bond on you. Then you have to pay that. And so I'm trying to find a good way to explain this. The same thing applies to a public official. The bond company is liable or holds that bond over them as long as they do what they're supposed to. Hold their oath to office. Do not break the law or become incarcerated or physically harm or injure somebody. So those and the people who go after the claim are technically saying like a personal injury type of thing. So we'll get to that in a minute. I gotta hurry. I want to wrap this up quick because. All right. So what you do? You file a FOIA, a Freedom of Information Act request, and all public information is under any public information you can get from your city clerk. And if you're having a hard time, if you're trying to go after a superintendent or a school board member, you want to FOIA the treasurer for the school board, or you still might have to go, if they're under a blanket bond, it might be under the city clerk as well. You might have to FOIA them. If they don't understand what a bond is, say liability policy or bond holder. So when you send in your FOIA, you want to ask for photos, file copies. If you ask for printed paper, they're gonna charge you a lot. I just had someone ask me a question about that on Telegram. She got charged almost $300.
So,
And I said, well, ask for photocopies, you can print it yourself for less than that. You wanna ask for a public official surety bond that is required by the state of Michigan revised code, which is, Michigan Comp L section 15.103. Public official blanket bonds. If they don't have a basic surety bond, they're under a blanket bond. Surety liability insurance policy, if applicable. Sometimes they're named differently, so you're trying to give them a few more options than usual. Insurance company name that is the bond holder. Now, the reason, this is new, I put that on there myself, because when I did this, I didn't get all this information the first time around. That's why it took us so long to do our claims. You want the bond holder. Who holds the bond? That's who you want. That is key. Liability policy number or member number. That is key. You can't file your claim without that. Power of attorney for bonding company, and power of attorney for blanket bond for the bonding company if applicable. You want a copy of their oath to office. That is very important. They are to sign their oath of office within 10 days of being appointed or elected or notified of election. So, and if they don't, then that's a violation to their oath. They did not sign it within those 10 days. So the surety bond, in order to have that surety bond, you have to sign it within 10 days. So you want to check the dates. So that you also might actually want to add to your FOIA of the person you're requesting it for. What date were they appointed, or what date were they elected, notified, and appointed? You might want to write that down. I forgot to put that there. That's actually because I had to go back and search for meeting minutes for these people to figure out who and when they were elected, when they were appointed. Oh my gosh, that's a needle in a haystack. So you send in your FOIA request per person, and that you don't FOIA everybody at once. You send in individually per person. So you FOIA Greg Mapes, and then you FOIA Audra Stahl, whoever you're wanting to FOIA. Letter of intent. After you've gotten all of your information, you want to file your letter of intent, or instead of filing, you're going to serve them. So this is where you're actually going to serve. You get to serve them yourself, kind of. The best place to serve them is during your public meetings. There was a mom who was given a restraining order because she went and gave the superintendent their notice themselves in the office, and they gave her a restraining order because they said she violated, I don't know, something. You know how laws are lately. They get really critical. So go to their public meetings and serve them there, like we did. We went to their meeting. I handed them the packets and said they're all listed in their names, and they passed them around, and then we told them they were served. But
What they do?
The faces were great.
their face, I'll just say this: if that's as far as we'll ever get, I can be content. But I don't want it to be as far as we can get. But it wasn't the faces I was used to seeing. It wasn't smugness. There wasn't smirking and
Just shock.
crossing arms. It was like,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, and that's, that's the thing is they did this. And sometimes I feel sorry for them. Like when we were there last night, I kind of felt bad because, I know some of that they're not all bad people, but they're making bad decisions for the community about whether I live the next town over or not. This is my community. We all share county resources. Everything we do together is as a whole, as a county. So you want to file your letter of intent. So you want a notice of intent to file a claim to your risk management plan. I did not write everything down, but I'll kind of summarize it. You want to put, your notice to, gosh, I can't type, I forgot to put notice to, title, address. So notice to, let's say Greg Mapes, title, mayor and city commissioner. And then the address is City Hall, City of Alma. Notifying party, your information. You want to list state violations first, and then federal violations second, and then list local violations, if any. In our case, they violated their city charter. So that's why I put local violations. you wanna list the bond amount. When you file your FOIA, when you get that insurance liability policy, you'll get how much they're bonded for. In our case, the city commissioners are all bonded for $1 million. So that's what you wanna file for, the max $1 million. So then you list that bond amount, and then you're gonna demand that they either resign or end a specific mandate if you're going after a school board member. So then you would say, I want all mask mandates and vaccine mandates to be dropped by so-and-so. You could say 48 hours to, we said 7 days because we still had to file our claims. We still had to type everything up. And then you give them a specific time, or I will file my claim. I have the thing that in my email, or I'm sorry, on Google Docs, I can send it to you in email for you to fill out on your own. And so that's why I don't have everything written down, because it's easier to get the email and it states everything you need. So with that, when you file your letter of intent, it's probably a good idea to already have this done.
Yeah.
Because you know what, when you file your letter of intent, you might want to already have your claim done. Just save yourself some trouble. Have that done first, even because chances are they're not going to do what you ask, and you're going to have to do it. So now this is a lot. There is a lot of extra info for a claim. What you want to do is you're going to list their state violations, not all together as a whole, but as a separate individual.
Is this because all this was filed because of what's going on up here in Alma, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep,
That's what I
because they
thought.
violated their oath to office. They have to violate their oath to office almost every time.
Which was what?
They restricted the citizens of Alma's rights by putting illegal aliens before them. They broke federal and state law, and that is a violation of their oath to office. They're risking the citizens of Alma and Gratiot County's safety, and that's another violation. They have to put we the people first. It's in Michigan's Bill of Rights.
There's actually, a state law that they wrote too, I can't remember the actual MCL code on it.
Oh.
But, conflict of interest.
Yes, I did
There's
put
an
that for
actual
Greg
MCL
Mapes.
code on that. And both of them.
Your
I-
tax on
Who? Oh, Undersaw. Yeah, I couldn't prove that she was profiting. We couldn't find the evidence, and in order to make
Well,
it.
you don't have to have evidence. Isn't she part of this child program or whatever?
Yeah, child advocacy.
But still, that's a conflict of interest.
Right,
Yeah.
she's able to.
I couldn't
basically
find-
hide behind that
I couldn't
title.
find, follow the money enough
Yeah,
to
it-
connect
yeah,
it to in order to
financial.
provide evidence.
Anything.
But if we can, then I can
potentially-
add that on there.
Anything that can potentially cause a person to make a decision to benefit them, that they don't necessarily have to do that. It's still a conflict of interest. But
Right.
if it can cause them to make a decision to benefit them, they're supposed to recuse themselves from the matter.
Yes, they are supposed to recuse themselves. I couldn't, we tried to connect the dots between child advocacy and the Warwick Living Center or Bethany Christian. We couldn't actually say that they were gonna work together, or that they were already in business to work together.
Right.
That was the only thing that stopped us. Now, if we can find that information, that would be awesome, and we can add that to Audra's claim.
Well, I don't know, doesn't she place kids or take in kids, or what is that she does exactly?
They assist
Assist
with,
placement?
not
I don't know.
placement.
I'm not sure.
They provide a structural, supportive, offering, so to say. You have low-income families, they help, or you have, kids who have been abused,
So
almost like social work, but it's a
So
private
she might know a
agency.
sponsor.
Right.
Yeah, that's another
And they
thing.
assist the people who do have, they take in, yeah, that's how they do it. And so clothing, any type of psychiatric care, they help them get signed up for, things like that. They're like an assisting agency.
What's Bethany Christian do? They send kids out to sponsors,
Right.
right?
Mm.
So Audra sends them to Bethany Christian Services.
So that's all it is.
Right, it's a referral, but to find that actual trail, we can know it all we know, because we know that's how those agencies work together. But to prove that through paperwork, because a lot of their paperwork is not publicized.
Yeah.
You almost have to be
We
in
can
the know
find
or.
that connection.
Is it
in that-
not-for-profit?
Huh?
Is it a not-for-profit?
Yeah, child advocacy.
Yes,
Probably find something.
Yeah, might be, I don't know.
I looked,
Well,
but,
if some, I've
if
done
you
so
wanna
much
have
research,
it,
my brain
have
is
it.
about mushy, so if someone else can do that, that'd be great.
Yeah, no,
So, if you could find that, and, you know, for some reason, we're still battling these claims, and I can add that to her, cause luckily, we reserve the right to amend our claims.
Good job.
So,
But as of right now, there doesn't seem to be any sort of type of contractual,
yeah,
agreement between them to be working together or anything like that.
Yeah.
If you find something, you see something, say something, whatever, gather the information you can, let us know.
Well, if
because-
there's no connection with Audra working with Bethany Christian Services, then
then we
why did
can't,
she go down there that day to?
That was for visual,
To look
that was
for
for optics,
safety
to
issues,
let,
which I
to
called her
show
out for.
Alma
Yeah.
residents that they were checking things out. It was, I'd say for optics, I don't really think
Oh,
it was
yeah.
for any particular reason.
The last night's meeting, I called her out, I'm like, what, you went there on an announced visit where they rolled out the red carpet for you at one of their other facilities for illegal aliens. I'm like, that's like I didn't say it out loud, I should've, that's like a cop telling a drug dealer, hey, we got a warrant to come search your house, we're on our way.
Yeah, yes.
What do you think that drug dealer is gonna do?
Yeah,
They're gonna get rid of the evidence,
Right.
they're gonna make sure everything looks good.
yeah,
And then when they get there, it's all fine. Oh, I guess I didn't find anything wrong with this place.
yeah.
You know, you made an announced visit.
When I heard her speak at the meeting after she visited, she was, everything she had to say was nothing but great things about that Christian
Mhm.
service. She couldn't
Yeah.
find anything wrong,
Yeah,
so that sounds kind of like a cover up to me.
I agree. Something's real shady going on between her and child advocacy and Bethany Christian, that's for sure. But, her face last night at that meeting when I asked her, did you follow up with what happens to these teens after they go to their sponsors? Cause I did.
Well, she definitely.
And I put that evidence in the claim. There were over 450,000 of these kids that went to sponsors, went missing last year.
Oh, wow.
Governor DeSantis covered this. Where did they go? And that's scary. Where did they go? There's one of many, but this particular one was an adult, 23-year-old, posing as a 17-year-old.
Oh, yeah.
Went to a sponsor in Florida and killed a sponsor.
Yep.
Sure.
And so that right there proves that adults are posing as minors. You only need one person to do that to prove that it's possible.
They're gonna come
And
here
that's
and
what
say
proves
they're
risk.
Jose, but they're really one, and they're not 17, they're really
Exactly.
25.
Yeah, it could, yeah, it's the young adults that have young faces that can get away with this, unless they're somehow caught. But they don't have a way to fully vet this. When I spoke with Chief Ramirez the other day, it was like 2 days ago, I called him just to ask him how we share county resources. He told me how the Alma and St. Louis departments help each other out to mutual agreement between each other, which proves that when I pay my city taxes and they go make a call to Alma, well then my city taxes are also paying for Alma services. So when they try to make an argument that I don't live in Alma and I don't apply, that's not true. Every decision they make apply for people who don't live in that city, if it risks my safety and also messes with my tax money or my city taxes. But I gotta get back real quick and I'm gonna have him come up here and speak. So, let's see here, claim. All right, so when you file your claim, you wanna have the insurance company name, address, city, state, email, the insured person, which is the city official, and then or the public official, or school board, depending on who you're going after, yes?
No,
Oh.
I'm just agreeing with you.
Their address, phone number, and email, and their email will be either the school, or their address will be either the school or the city hall, depending on, or police department, depending on what public official you're going after. their policy number or member number, and then the complainant, that's you. And then you list the terms of conditions on their insurance policy that apply to you, which for us, it was, oh my gosh,
I wasn't even paying attention,
Ah.
I'll be honest.
come on here. It was it reckless or something with an W?
Didn't hear what.
Wrongful acts, which is
Yes,
pretty much
wrongful.
willful,
I didn't hear
it's a
that.
willful act to either omit information or violate a law, which is, which directly or indirectly harms somebody. Okay, then you wanna list your state violations and your supporting evidence. Then your federal violations and supporting evidence. The number one is your violation to oath of office. Always put that first, and then your state constitution and the United States Constitution. Then you go through and list the state and federal laws. When your supporting evidence will be proof of how they broke the law. How are you gonna get your proof? It's either gonna be video evidence from their meeting minutes or from their meetings, like we can get on Alma's, City of Alma's page and watch all their meetings. We can write down things they say, or you can go to their meeting minutes, which is a lot of work. Holy crap. And you gotta.
I don't think I ever wanna read.
So I have to download the link to the meeting minutes, copy and paste it to the claim. Below it, I have to, I copy and paste what they say, highlight it, because there's a way to highlight it in Google Docs. Highlight it,
Oh, yeah.
and then explain how this made them violate that law. And then, so on and so forth. And then at the end, you put down, why this is harming you. So, emotional distress or however, a public official that hits you with their car, you can also file a claim against their bond on that too. So, or that physically harms you. There's many different ways. But in our case, it's a personal injury type of thing. So you have to explain how this affects you. How is this impacting you? For me, this scares the crap out of me for my kids. To know when they're there, I'm just down the road. I live on one of the most traveled roads in the state of Michigan. Just three and a half miles away, depending on Google. Sometimes it says.
I know.
Sometimes it
That's
says
why I just
2.7,
put 3,
sometimes it
because
says
mine
3.5.
It said 3.1 the one day, it
It's
said 2.7
confusing.
the other days.
I'm not gonna trust for my kids to go anywhere without me. I don't trust the city officials with how they rezone that property for the sole benefit of the property owner, without considering the actual benefit of the city of Alma. The only financial beneficiary is the Alma Masonic Pathways. That's it. So that was another law I put on there for violation, is spot zoning. So that's how I put on, and I put the law for spot zoning and how they violated that. And Daniel Warnick actually talked about that at the September 14th meeting. He said it's a slippery slope, and he spoke with other neighboring planning commissions and investors who have business investments in downtown Alma that agree. This is a slippery slope when it's for the sole benefit of the property owner.
Right.
So I put that in there too, in their claims. So Greg Meeks, I put on his conflict of interest, and some of them had oaths of office that didn't quite, that may have some inconsistencies that may make them invalid.
Are we gonna, if that, like, did we ever figure out when Audra got?
No, I don't know when she was
I
appointed.
didn't see anything either.
Couldn't find anything in public record, nothing in the meeting minutes when she was appointed, and nothing in,
Should I just?
nothing in
FOIA
YouTube
it?
videos.
Because could we amend that in, or just wait and see how they reply?
No, I mean, we'll just wait and see what they say.
Okay.
Because she didn't even get on any of the boards to speak until January. She wasn't even on the city commission board until January, but she signed her oath of office November 27th of 2018. Didn't start until January, like the second week of January or something, 2019. So when, she was notified before that, because during November 13th meeting, she was congratulated on her win in the election. But she but nothing
That was
said when
November
she was
13th.
appointed, the day she was appointed or anything. So, if I couldn't find that public information, so I did put that down, unless they can prove that she was appointed, but, or notified. I think if it's one or the other, then the other one applies. So we'll have to wait and see how that
Right,
works.
right.
Okay, so this is what we're doing, and if you want to do this, you have to be familiar with state codes like MCL, and there'll be number, dot, number, and that's what you're gonna list down as your list of violations, and then you go through and explain them all. If you guys, if you know anyone from Alma, that would like to file a claim, the more people to file a claim against these people, against the city commissioners, the better. So it only takes 10 people to get their insurance company to say, hey, we've had enough. We're taking this person off we're unbonding this person.
So what happened with that? And if they're found guilty, per se,
If a bonding agent says, you're a liability, man, we're dropping you. It's gonna be really hard for them to find another insurance company or liability company to put a bond on them, because they're a liability for one company, they're a liability for another. If they become unbondable because they can't get another bond, then they must resign, I believe, within 72 hours from
okay,
office.
so that would
They
be the
cannot be
consequence.
a public official without a bond.
Okay,
And then they can never run for office again.
oh,
Yeah, so that's why when I sent this to them, when I filed our letters of intent, when we served them their notices, I should say, we told them that this isn't a joke. So, we're not bluffing. This, if you don't do what we ask, and your bonding company says we're dropping you, you won't be able to do this again. So that's what we're doing. This isn't what we wanted to do though. I don't like having to put people in a place like this, but this is where we're at. The rights of the people matter more than whatever it is they have lined up benefiting them. So, any questions on this? If you guys, yes.
so, my question, and I don't think it was answered when we were at that one meeting. What happens to these these supposedly children when they're older than they're supposed to be in there? Like, say somebody's actually 18 and now they're turning 19.
They assist them with placement.
Put them out in the community.
Yeah, they don't go.
Yeah, they
stay right here.
take them out.
But where? I mean,
Wherever they want.
In your backyard.
okay, now John and I were foster parents we've got adopted children and whatever.
Right.
But we were foster parents for 17 years, and we had this one child that was old enough, she was really no longer the foster child, Cindy. And there were just horrible things happening in our house because of this individual, and I called the caseworker, and this is what she told me: take her to the emergency room of a hospital and drive away. And she'd been with us for like 5-6 years, and I said, I cannot do that.
Wow.
But we had no help or anything, and that's why I'm wondering what's gonna happen. Are they just like, okay, you're now 19, bye?
They probably have a placement program that starts, I'd say, don't quote me, but this is kind of how things usually work when people are getting discharged from a program. They start about 6 months early, they start the program, they get them on a work enforcement program, and then they get them signed up with whatever state help they will need or will be receiving. That could change in the future.
Okay.
We already know that, they basically have a free ride, no matter whether
Right.
they're working or
Right.
not. Their medical and their
I
food
know.
will be covered nonstop, and then they'll start helping them, placing them in, filling out applications for
Yeah.
apartments or houses or,
Yeah.
it's a placement program, that is what they do. And where they decide,
And once they leave,
we don't know.
once they leave the resettlement homes, once they're put in the sponsor's hands, they're no longer responsible for them. Those
Yeah.
places like Bethany Christian Services or Scar Commonwealth, they're no longer responsible once they push them off onto a sponsor. And then the sponsor and then a lot, 400, last year almost 500,000 sponsors, including,
But I believe the
The
placement
unaccompanied
programs are
minors
through
just disappeared.
DHS
so, yeah.
for the illegals, so DHS
Oh.
is the one that would step in and do the placement. not the sponsor.
Mhm. Yeah, that means they can just go anywhere.
Yeah.
And we don't know, that could even be here.
Doesn't Bethany Christian Services help with placement too?
They find sponsors for them.
Yeah.
They find the sponsors for it, yeah.
But they don't, this facility doesn't find sponsors for them, they're, it's like an introduction, here, welcome to our country.
Right.
And then they move to
That's
a
why the
different
fast
facility
turnover.
every 20-something to 40-something days.
Yep.
They bring them in, and they recycle them out to a different facility, or that facility sponsors them out,
Yep.
or something like that. But, yeah, it's a very dangerous scale of risk.
Is there gonna be armed guards?
I don't know. I know there was in Albion,
I
but
know.
when he went there, he went there on his way here, there was one car there, and he pulled up and, you know,
Yeah, he
they
said
weren't
that,
here
yeah.
for that story.
No, we heard that,
Oh,
yeah.
you did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's just,
Bottom line is they can't, and this is all on record at the city council, they can't hold them there
Mhm.
against their will.
Yep, I have that in the evidence too.
Really?
That's right.
Mhm.
And that'd be
Yep.
unconstitutional, right? They have all these constitutional.
Oh, but they're
Yep, They're
not.
allowed,
well,
it's not a
they say that,
prison.
you know,
Prison
the
is
security
even-
cameras and the extra lighting and
I should
everything
send
like that
you
is their.
one of the
their
claims I
extensive
sent
of
in, if you wanna look it over.
like our-
If we have to do it when we have some time.
Yeah.
But, I'll send you one of the claims if you
You're
want.
right.
But I do have those meeting minutes where Chris Stephen mentioned that, and she mentioned that it's not a prison. Yes, it's unlocked, they can walk out, but, you know, we will have 24-hour surveillance and, but we can't force them, we can't physically grab them or anything, something
Oh,
like
my
that,
word.
yeah.
Well, that's not the picture they painted at that meeting.
No, it isn't.
No, this was
They
at,
said
what they said at September 14th, that, when they vote, I'm sorry, July
July
12th,
12th,
at the
yeah.
big public hearing.
We were there.
Krista Stevens said this before we got into public comment, so I was able to go in and, like, go through the
Find it,
transcripts.
bro.
And I had to read a lot of
Yeah.
transcripts to get to where she was, that's for sure. But, yeah, it's a, you know, we're just worried, we're worried about our safety and our security. And we're worried about the lawlessness that's going on in Alma, and lawlessness spreads. And when they make decisions that are only beneficial to a property owner, and not the city of Alma, huh?
Or a Mason.
Or a Mason,
Yeah,
yep,
yeah.
this is all Masonic, Mason involved, centered. When it's only when it's for the sole benefit of the property owner, without even considering whether it's in the benefit of the city of Alma or the citizens of Alma, that's a dangerous slope. That sets a precedent. What about the city of St. Louis? What happens if that mayor decides to do the same thing? Well, because Alma got away with it.
Yeah.
How many places are they gonna spot zone for the sole benefit of just the property owner without considering the neighborhood around it?
Yeah.
Somebody that's in charge of the city would not consider such a thing.
You would think.
Right, it's a violation of the law. So they
Yeah.
consider-
It is a violation of.
But St. Louis actually got rid of the Baptist
Mhm.
children's home.
Yes.
They actually got rid of all the kids out of the Baptist
Mhm.
home. Conveniently, kind of like the Warwick Center got rid of their senior citizens.
Yeah.
They merged
So,
them in.
now there's no facility over here all of a sudden.
Well, it just doesn't make sense when they say, oh, well, they just didn't have enough that.
Yeah,
They
I
don't
know.
want
When you shut that center down,
Mhm.
it's,
This has been the rules for-
now you just added on, and then you added on more apartments to the top floor.
Is there?
Huh.
But you didn't need that building?
Okay, so,
Okay.
yeah, that's, definitely need to keep an eye on that building, for sure, just
Well,
to
they
see
just
what they're
added
doing.
on, I don't know how many rooms.
Well, we'll get on
Just trying to
that
figure
mayor's
that
case too.
out.
But, is anyone here interested in, filing a claim or bond claim? Cause I know there's a couple new faces here, so if anyone is interested in doing that, please let me know. I have all, like, especially if you know any, yes,
Yesterday you said something about multiple claims can be
Mhm.
yes,
laid on, I guess, or.
Yes.
claimed on.
so.
that- So I can take a clean, against recommendations.
Uh-huh. Yes, 10 people can file claims
Yeah.
against recommendations.
Does it have to be in the same county? Does it have to be in the same city?
It's preferred to be within the city of Alma County, where we're seeing what happens.
Yeah, we kinda,
Because, well, we live, Meredith and I live pretty close to that facility, so.
yeah, we do.
And also St. Louis and Alma, we share county resources.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's scary.
So we believe that this affects the county because we all pay for a lot
And
of
I
the
believe
same
it affects
services.
the counties that are butting up to Gratiot County as well.
I agree, I totally
I do
agree.
with that.
Like her daughter lives here.
Mm.
Right.
And so that, that's
That's actually a good point. You might actually have something there, you might be able to file
grandson
things
lives
yourself.
there.
Right.
I didn't know that.
Because
Didn't
when
know
I,
you lived
when
in
I
Alma. We would have had
wrote
you
my
on these things a long time
letter,
ago.
I included the fact that I was only 3 miles away and that I was fighting
My
for
daughter's
my
less than a mile
grandchildren.
away from the Warwick.
Mine too, I get
Wow.
ya, she lives right towards the college, right on that same
Oh,
street.
Oh, you should have put that on your, did you put that on
I
your?
did. I
Okay.
didn't put the area where she
Oh,
worked, I did
gotcha.
say that my grandchildren were running
The
over.
grandson only lived like 5 miles.
Oh, wow.
Little pup.
Oh. Oh my
Oh,
God.
I
Okay, you have me going there for a minute. Okay,
He walks on 2 legs too.
so,
Oh.
but this is what we can use. This is a hidden thing that people just did not know about, and it's just come to surface. This came out of nowhere, hit us left field, and we said, we're going up to bat. Like,
Yeah.
we're going up, and we're just gonna go for the home run. Let's just do it all right now. So, and it was a lot of hard work, but this is our job as a patriot, as people who care about our communities, our surrounding communities, and people who care about their children and their loved ones. And not just that, but your rights, because the second those are taken away, you've lost your freedom. So we can't lose that. We have to keep fighting, no matter how much pushback we get. I don't care how many names those pro-rezone people want to freaking call me, how many pictures they want to Photoshop of me, call me funny names or weird names. I don't really care. They can do that all day long, because my children are who my children are who I care about. Those are the ones that I'm fighting for, and I know you guys are the same way. You're fighting for your kids, your grandkids, your sisters, your brothers, your neighbors' kids, because we can't just save ourselves. We have to work on saving our communities, and obviously we can't start at the higher level. Look what's happening up there. Nothing's happening up there, even with our own, even with the Republican Party, and there's so much corruption in there. I don't even want to get started. I call myself a patriot. That's the party I'm in.
Yep.
I'm a
There you go.
patriot. That's where I'm at. And I wasn't part of the Gratiot County Republican Party. I resigned from that board, and I have nothing bad to say except it wasn't for me no more. I realized that my method of ways, it gets things done, and not everyone likes it for some reason. So that's all right. It doesn't have to be everyone's cup of tea.
If you don't
And-
follow their orders, that's why they don't.
Yeah, it's a long story, but I have nothing against what they're doing or the members or anything like that. It's just I've decided that I don't want to be a part of an establishment. That's not where I want to be. I don't. And if we want to get anything done, it has to start locally, because you can't start from the top and bring everything down. You got to start from the bottom and start locally in each city, because
Steps.
it spreads everywhere. Just like this Bonds for the Win. If you get on their Telegram, their most recent posts are all these success stories. Mass amounts of
That's
schools
amazing.
dropping all these
It's
mandates.
really good.
States,
Feel good.
I think the state of Illinois dropped all their mandates now. Yeah, because the bond company, they don't like liabilities. They don't like people who break the law that they are held liable for. If you're held liable for someone and you told them, well, if you violate this, then if someone says you may have hurt them, then I gotta pay them $10,000. Well, would you wanna be liable for them anymore? If they provided proof? No, you wouldn't wanna be liable for them, and that's what these bond companies are saying. I don't wanna be held liable for them if they're violating the law. And the more claims that are filed against that person, the more successful the removal of that bond is. But especially when you have what is it? Just substantial evidence. Inarguable, is that the word? Evidence. Sorry?
Inalienable?
No, I don't think that's the right word. I think, where they can't sit there, they can't even detest it. You have so much evidence right there, like, well, you know, what can we do? I mean, that's solid, that's rock solid.
Irrefutable evidence.
Irrefutable, thank you. I don't know why, I'm normally really good at big words. Okay,
We knew we were waiting for some reason.
but I just, you know, I'm glad for the people that showed up here today, and that tells you that, you know, there's fighters, there's new faces here, which is amazing, and we have to stand up for our freedom, for our future, and if you guys want to get started on something, and I have the means to help you, finally done writing the claims, so I can have some free time now. It's amazing.
How many kids did you say disappeared?
It was over 450,000
Yep.
last year. There's an article Governor DeSantis wrote on it, and I believe there's links in that article to substantiate his claims.
The number of illegals that have, come to America, the numbers that they give you on media, it's been millions
Oh,
from
yeah.
the beginning, you know, and so when I see, cause you see the million, from the actual Border Patrol reports,
Mhm.
you go there for your source. You
Yeah.
go to those states for your source of numbers, because you know, when I had done that was way back when I joined the group, Robbie Joe, when everything was just starting with all the protesting that we were doing. I had gone to a website and they had, you know, from Texas, from Border Patrol, you know, they had estimated that there was already, and this is just children.
No, that's the
And
thing.
in the last 18 months, it was already up almost to 2 million. But yet, at that time, mainstream media was only reporting close to 200,000. So it was a huge discrepancy in the numbers. It was very noticeable.
Oh, it's not, yeah, it's on Telegram, Citizens Against.
And then the sergeant schools.
But there isn't a share link. One of our group members that made the group, she didn't make it where there's a link to share. I'll see if I can find it. On Facebook, it's Citizens Against, but we also have a business page where you can like it. You can hit like.
Where would I find that?
On Facebook.
I know.
Oh, I can't get on
That's where
Facebook.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're
Everybody likes the
restricted.
unicorn.
I really appreciate it.
Any members of the public like to address the commission? Please go to the podium, state your name and address, and I believe you have up to 5 minutes.
I have some documents that I need to pass. All right, I'm Robbie Rodriguez from St. Louis, Michigan. All right, they're named per person. Before you is a notice requesting that you all resign within 7 days for not only breaking, now that's just for the people who are receiving the notices, for breaking our state, federal, and city laws, but for violating your oath to office. We didn't want it to come to this, but you've given us no choice because your role in the rezone of the Warwick building that would allow illegal aliens to live in our community is not only unconstitutional, but you guys broke so many laws in that process. If you don't resign within 7 days, we will file claims for the amount of $1 million per person against your surety bonds. Before you think this is some kind of joke, all we need to prove is that you broke one law. If your bonding agent finds that you have with the proof, we will be providing them, they will drop you and you will become unbondable. If you are found unbondable, you must resign immediately and you will never be able to run for office again. So think about that before you think this is some kind of joke. And like I said, I wish it didn't have to come to this. But, you know, when this happened, we weren't going to just let accountability go, let people go on a where they're not being held responsible for the things that they did and the things that they're bringing to this community, not only endangering the citizens of Alma, but the citizens of Gratiot County and the surrounding areas and the residents who live within a few miles of that unlocked facility. So Roxanne Harrington, Nicholas Piccolo, Greg Mapes, Audra Stahl, you've been served.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Robbie Rodriguez from St. Louis, Michigan. Kind of wanted to reiterate on the bullying thing and the harassment thing. I know it is being referred to, and the only thing we've ever asked is that the law is followed. And harassment, I had pictures put on me that were edited to the point where they were calling me names. They were, it was very, very insulting pictures from the rezone group, the people who wanted it. And yeah, and also Don Ayers dealt with tons of harassment, by the way, just because he wanted to follow the law and he did not feel like there was resolution on the Warwick conditional rezone. So that's pretty hypocritical. The only thing we've ever asked is that the law was followed. So also a thing on the whole water situation, I just want to say, I also think you should probably ask the citizens of Alma before you charge them to excavate pipelines in their property. That's probably a good decision because it's going to raise their water bill. So anyways, February 8th, my team and I, we came in and we served a notice to Roxanne Harrington, Roger Allman, Greg Mapes, Nicholas Piccolo, and Audra Stahl. I'd like to thank my team, Meredith, Kelly, and Holly, for all of their hard work and research. Also, Sarah Anderson, I know we've been a handful, and thank you for being so patient with us. We have been working nonstop for about 4 weeks, and it's probably the hardest thing we've ever had to do. And we've had to comb through meeting minutes, watched hours of video. Some meeting minutes I had to read back to 2018. I pretty much know everything about the city now. And we've also spent endless hours typing up evidence claims. And just something I want to mention briefly as I was going through the research. Last year alone, over 450,000 of these unaccompanied minors went missing, and that was after they were given to a sponsor. Upon contact from places like Bethany Christian Services, where were they? Couldn't be found, or their sponsor had no idea where they went. What are you guys enabling? Where did these kids go? They just went missing. You don't see any danger? Or did you not do your homework? Like Audra actually kind of scolded Michelle Pitts last year during the September 14th meeting, where she accused you of not doing your homework on the planning commission because you had a question that maybe you didn't think of beforehand. But I know you did your homework and you went to Bethany Christian Services in a different facility where you announced your visit and they rolled out the red carpet for you. I still don't, the safety question, just because you went there does not mean that what you're doing is not illegal, and does not mean that there is no risk of safety for the citizens of Alma and the citizens in the community surrounding the area that live close, or honestly, actually the whole entire county, because we share county resources. This affects everybody in the county of Gratiot. So, how did you guys not know about the 450,000 kids that went missing? Is this not a red flag? Where did they go? Did you guys try to even research contacting these kids after they left the resettlement homes? I think that's a really big deal, because if they're disappearing, there's something really wrong going on. And that means you guys are enabling dangerous activity. Excuse me. talking too fast. So with that, you guys have participated and are enabling something dangerous. You have broken many laws. We have almost 20 pages of evidence each for Roxanne Harrington, Roger Allman, Greg Mapes, Nicholas Piccolo, and Audra Stahl. We ask that you guys, upon February 8th, we ask that you guys resign from receiving our notice, or after receiving our notice within 7 days, and you did not. So we filed our claims last night against your surety bonds. Now, this is not a lawsuit for those who are really confused about this. For the amount of $1 million for many violations, which I'm sure you guys probably got them today and are combing through the many pages. I did a lot of, I made sure that the bonding agent doesn't have to do too much homework on their own. I copied and pasted, I sent links, video, you name it. I made sure they had it all.
Robbie, if you could please wind it
Yeah,
up, your time is up.
You guys mess with our community safety, when you mess with our rights and you break the laws, we're gonna come after your bonds. And there's gonna be more people. Once they see what's happening, more than one person can file a claim against your bonds. Doesn't just take one person each. So that's what's gonna be happening here in the future. And if you guys wanna discuss something, you have my number. Thank you.
Thank you. Who would like to be next?
All right, folks, this right here is 842 Warwick here in Alma. This is the property that they're going to use for the illegals that they plan to put here. And if you look right over here, you can see through the brush, there is a trailer park over there. Maybe what, 1,000 yards away? I'm gonna walk over here by this property and show you this. Look at my phone and tell you the date and time. It's 5:21 p.m. Wednesday, February 23rd. So they've already started on this property, getting it prepared for the use they plan to use it for. And they've put up a whole bunch of cameras everywhere. Let's see, on this back corner, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cameras just across the back of the building. Oh, make that 7. There's 2 cameras on the corner. Whew, lots of ice here. All right, and then you got a camera above that door. A camera on that corner. And a camera above that door. Let's see, there's one camera for sure back in that cubby. Those are not cheap cameras. Those are new style cameras, brand new cameras. See, on its front corner, there's 2 cameras. Oh, my camera's cold. It won't zoom in. I'm having trouble zooming in there, guys. Sorry about that. Oh wow, there's 3 cameras right there. 3 cameras right there. Another camera there. Another camera there. Another camera there. There's no signage anywhere on this property. None. They have a U.S. flag and a Michigan State seal flag. All right, now at the front door, you've got a camera on either window adjacent to the front door, and then on the outermost poles you can see the white spots. Those are also cameras. And then there's a camera on the corner of the building right there. Right, trees in the way right there. And then there's 2 cameras right there. And then there's a corner camera there. And again, right through those pine trees, what, maybe 1,000 feet from the back of the building are those pine trees, 1,500 feet max. Right through those trees is where that trailer park is. And then you can see on the very back corner, there's a camera. So yeah, they got a ton of cameras on this building. And from what I've been told, those are all brand new. I'll give you more details on this as they come to light. Bye for now.